Coming up on the May edition of Rood Crew Radio, Scott Laird will be with us to talk about SNLs this month and what's happening on the Health Awakening. Then I'll be joined by Analil Rood and Alvaro Martinez to talk about the international ministries here at A Rood Awakening. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss a moment of the May edition of Rood Crew Radio.
From the Production Group studios in Charlotte, North Carolina, you're listening to the Rood Crew Radio program on the Rood Radio Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the May edition of Rood Crew Radio. I'm your host, Ted Clayton, and with me right now is our co-host for this month, Scott Laird. Scott, how are you doing, friend?
Good. Ted, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Hey, listen, tell us what's going on Shabbat Night Live in the month of May.
Well, we just finished up Noah's Ark. And that was fascinating enough. But now Michael is back in the teaching chair, and he's doing something on Revelation. It's called Where Are We in the Book of the Revelation? And this springboards off of a new thing that he's doing. It's a chart, much like the chronological Gospels chart, but it shows the timeline of the book of the Revelation so people can make more sense of it.
Oh, wow.
And so this teaching is all along that
Well, you know,
same line.
I've seen some of the first drafts of the chart. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. For people, you know, Revelation, in my opinion, is one of the hardest books of the Bible to understand. And when you see this chart and see how everything is laid out, it just explains the book of Revelation in such great detail.
It does. And that's because Michael actually considers Revelation to be the easiest book in the Bible. How he does, I don't know, but he makes all kinds of sense of it that other people can't.
Yeah, only to Michael Rood would Revelation be such an easy thing, because it is, I mean, even in seminary, it is one of the most complicated books to understand, yet Michael explains it so effortlessly.
And you know why that is? Because everybody's basing it on their own opinion or fanciful imaginations. He's backing it up to the Torah. What does the Torah say, and how does that mirror what's going on in the Revelation? That way you know that it's the truth. It's not just somebody's opinion.
Absolutely. Well, also in the month of May, you've got a new Health Awakening program. Who's on that this month?
Very excited. We've been wanting to have him on for a long time. Dr. Josh Axe. Very, very popular guy online. A lot of people lean on him for a lot of great health advice. He's actually been on the Dr. Oz show several times. And what he's going to be talking to us about is something I wanted to learn about. I personally did not know about what he wanted to bring. And it was collagen peptides.
Whoa. Collagen peptides.
Collagen.
Okay, that sounds very collegiate.
Collagen protein or collagen peptides. If you're, in the store shelves in Costco and places like that, you'll see this right beside the plant-based proteins and the whey proteins in the health section.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know what this is all about. And in a nutshell, Dr. Axe tells us that when you buy these other types of protein, it's for muscle building and that type of thing. Collagen protein is something that builds your ligaments and your tendons and all that kind of thing, which we need as well, but everybody ignores it because we just don't know about it. And so this is something very important now that people are getting joint issues and all this type of stuff because they're paying attention to one type of protein supplement and not the other.
Oh, okay. So they're specifically different than building up muscle mass. It's to build up the ligaments then.
That's right. Yeah. And since everybody's been paying attention to the other types of protein.
All the bodybuilders and
right.
such as
And
that,
especially since people have gone to a plant-based diet. Now, this is interesting because, I'm a proponent of a plant-based diet.
Right.
But collagen protein can only come from an animal source. So this is very interesting to me because I know people have run to a vegan diet because of, health running awry and they didn't know where else to go. Well, to me,
Sure.
that's the safety diet. But now that we have organics and this type of thing, and there's grass-fed beef, and people are moving more toward a healthier way of eating, this may not be such a bad thing.
So I just can't wait to see that because, there are so many times where we have been told, and Scott, you're a doctor of naturopath, so you understand what I'm saying when I say, 1 month you said, don't eat salt. Next month, you got to have salt. And, it just goes back and forth. So this kind of goes in toward that. So that sounds very interesting and very good. Also now, for the month of May, every month, Michael Rood and A Rood Awakening International has a new thank you gift. We call it the love gift. So tell me about the love gift for this month.
Well, this month is something that I think a lot of people are going to want to pass on to their friends and family because of the title. And it really is all about this. It's called Debunking the Oral Torah. Because one of the first things people come up against is when they're examining their faith is that, well, Jesus broke the Torah. I mean, the Pharisees told him all the time he was breaking the law.
Right.
Well, no, that's the oral Torah. People, well, I thought the Torah was the Torah. Well, no, Michael explains it in very simple language in this love gift teaching, and it's a great thing to have because now people can finally understand what the difference is here, and it's a lot simpler than a lot of people think.
Okay. Now, that's for the $50 donation level, right? So if you donate $50 or more, you get that. Now, if you donate $100 or more, you get the teaching, which is debunking the oral Torah. But what else do you get?
Well, you get this. It's a first century artifact, a replica that we have. It's a wall hanging that shows the menorah, the temple menorah on it. And we've looked at this thing, and it kind of looks like something you'd burn oil in or something.
Yeah,
but it's an oddly shaped thing. But that's because we weren't in the first century, and this is the fashion of the first century. But it's kind of neat looking, and it's a wall hanging, and it just says, "I am the light of the world." It has inscribed in it from John 8:12 and a picture of the menorah. But this is other than the Bible verse, it's a replica from the first century. It's really neat.
Well, you can get that, ladies and gentlemen, by going to A Rood Awakening.tv/lovegift. Is that correct?
Or even easier, you can go to monthlylovegift.com. Either one will take you there.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. Also, Scott, we wanted to let the people know that the michaelrood.tv app, that's the program that you can use on your iPhone, iOS system, or your Android telephone. Also, you can watch Michael Rood TV on Amazon Fire, on Roku, on Apple TV. Folks, it is absolutely amazing. We've done some little changes with it right now, and it has more Michael Rood than you could possibly imagine on there. But it also has Scott doing the Health Awakening as well.
Yeah, we have a podcast up for the Health Awakening. All kinds of great stuff on there. You'll never run out of content, and you can take it wherever you go. That's the beauty of the michaelrood.tv app, and it's real simple to sign in, just like you would with Netflix or Hulu.
Absolutely, and you don't have to just be able to watch these shows on the app in English. You can also watch in Spanish. And we'll be back in just a moment to talk about the international ministries with Analil Mora Alvaro and Alvaro Martinez. Folks, you're not going to want to miss a moment of the May edition of Rood Crew Radio. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to Rood Crew Radio on the Rood Radio Network.
Passed down through generations of Jewish priests, the oral Torah was intended to be another layer of protection to keep the people from breaking any of the Torah laws. In debunking the oral Torah, Michael Rood brings you along with Paul and Barnabas as they struggle to strip away years of false teachings and layers of law the Almighty never intended to impose upon His people.
And now you've got these people that have been raised with rabbinic Judaism, and they're coming up and say, oh, you've got to keep the oral Torah.
In debunking the oral Torah, Michael Rood continues his journey through the book of Acts. Learn how the Pharisees, in their short-sighted thinking, ended up breaking the law of Moses while trying to protect it their own way.
They're learning the Torah. They're learning about Yeshua. They're learning about how Yeshua kept the Torah.
Debunking the Oral Torah is an exclusive teaching available only in May. It's a gift from Michael Rood to you for your love gift donation of just $50. Or with a love gift donation of $100 or more, we'll send you Debunking the Oral Torah, plus a first century replica wall hanging commemorating the temple menorah.
This is what we are called to do. This is our ministry as priests. As a royal priesthood, we have to go before the throne of Almighty God. We have to put the incense on the altar before the throne, which are our prayers, and that is lifted up before Him and in His name, calling for Him to take these people out.
Call now to make your love gift donation. 800-788-7887. That's 800-788-7887. Or visit our website at monthlylovegift.com. Offer ends May 31st or while supplies last.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second segment of Rood Crew Radio. I'm your host, Ted Clayton, and I am honored to have with me as my guest for this segment, Michael Rood's wife, Analil Mora Rood. Hi, Analil. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Well, we're grateful to have you here. Analil, we want to learn more about what's happening in the international ministries here at A Rood Awakening International. Can you tell us just a little bit about some of the goings-on here at Rood Awakening for International?
Sure. On the international side of the ministry, we're really excited. At this moment, we're translating the Revelation series. The Revelation series has been a big hit in the English world and has done amazing in Spanish.
Yes.
And what we're doing now is translating it into Russian, and we have one of our ambassador members, Jay Whelan. He's funding that, and we're really excited, and they're doing an amazing job. And we also have, I'm sure you've all heard of Paul Shea and Kingdom for Jesus.
Yes, that's a ministry out of California, and their big ministry is to help Christian pastors in the Asian world.
That's correct. And they saw the Revelation series, and they immediately said, we want this in Chinese. We have to get it translated or subtitled. Well, they did both, actually. And we are just hoping and praying for the doors of Good TV Taiwan to open so we can air it there. And they're already on episode 9 and just almost finishing the series in Chinese. So that's something else that I'd like everyone to pray for. And
Absolutely. You know, Good TV, folks, in case you don't know, Good TV is one of the world's largest, if not the world's largest television network. It basically covers the entire Asian world, and it's just absolutely amazing. Also, moving back for just a moment, talking about the Russian translations and so forth, we're in negotiations right now with TBN Russia to have the possibility of going on the air in not only in Russia, but the one of the world's largest population of Christian Russians, or Jewish Russians, I should say, in the world is in Israel. And Russia Television, or TBN Russia, actually broadcasts specifically to that population in Israel.
that's right. So that really has Michael excited as well. He does have a heart for the people that are living in Israel, the Russians there. And so that's something else we have on our plate. At the same time, translation is undergoing in German also for
That's
the Revelation
series. You know, that's interesting that you say that, because folks, 80% of the world's population speak either French, Italian, German, Spanish, or English. And in the television world, we have an acronym for that called FIGS, and that you want to try to make sure that you're broadcasting to all of those different languages, because when you do so, you're speaking to almost 80% of the spoken world in the earth.
That's right, Ted, and we're just very grateful to the volunteers because our translation volunteers, to be more specific. It's a whole workflow to get this done. We get the transcript in English in our hands.
Yes.
And then we send it out to our volunteers. They might get 2-3 episodes per person. They translate it. In this case, we're doing German right now. And then they have it back to us, and then it has to be proofread. So it's a pretty, detailed process. Sometimes we have to change certain phrases, idiomatic phrases that Michael might use in English, and maybe they don't make that much sense in another language. So that has to be translated, so another culture can understand. But it's all happening, and we're just really want to touch all the continents. And my dream, Ted, is definitely India.
Yes.
that's always been my dream, but those are 3, that's Hindi, Telugu, Tamil.
Yes.
And but hey, if Yehovah has opened the doors for Latin America and for Europe, he'll open these doors. it's a little bit harder on this end to get people that are volunteers for that.
Sure.
But we're still praying and asking Yehovah for those people to stand up to the plate. That divine appointment for them to show up and get this stuff just for India.
India is truly a harvest field ripened for harvest, because folks, there are over 300 religions in India. 300 religions, and the scope is just incredible on what is happening right now in the Christian world in India, and it's just absolutely amazing to see the change that is taking place in India, because Christians have come into there and actually evangelized. I'll tell you another big place is China. Once again, we were talking about good TV. Michael went a couple of years back to China, and they were just thrilled to have him there, and just thrilled to be able to talk with him. Now, I know we're going to be doing other languages also, perhaps like French. We were talking about in Italian and so forth.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, because besides doing the Revelation series in other languages, another big thing on my plate, that Ted, is TCG, the Chronological Gospels.
Absolutely.
And the Chronological Gospels is in its last phase in Spanish. It's taken quite a while because Michael's been wanting to update some things. We've added, we have somebody that knows Hebrew in our team, Zvi Farladansky, and he's added some new nuances because he's a fluent he speaks, Hebrew. And but that's in its last phase. And we also already have TCG, the Chronological Gospels, in French.
Yes.
It is basically done. Yeah.
Now, if someone wanted to volunteer to translate for you, how do they get in touch with you?
They can get in touch. They can call directly to the ministry, or they can email me directly at Analil, that's ANALIL, @michaelrood.tv.
Well, Analil, just stay here with me for just another segment, because in just a moment, folks, we're going to have the voice of Michael Rood in the Spanish world, Alvaro Martinez, will be joining us in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Rood Crew Radio on the Rood Radio Network.
What began as Michael Rood's 40-year labor of love has become an international phenomenon. The Chronological Gospels Bible, the remarkably accurate and astonishing truth that the Messiah's ministry was just 70 weeks. This eye-opening and life-changing Bible is now being translated by volunteers into Spanish, Russian, French, and Mandarin Chinese. However, printing this Bible is not free, but you can help. Your donation of $1,000 or more will be used to print the Chronological Gospels Bible in these languages.
As a special thank you gift for your generosity, I am going to send you a rare collector's item, an original hardcover version of the Chronological Gospels, complete with a handwritten, personalized message to you from me.
Own this rare piece of history and help secure the future of the Chronological Gospels Bible. Make your donation now. Call 888-766-3610.
Passed down through generations of Jewish priests, the Oral Torah was intended to be another layer of protection to keep the people from breaking any of the Torah laws. But they were laws never intended by the Almighty. In Debunking the Oral Torah, Michael Rood brings you along with Paul and Barnabas as they strip away years of false teachings imposed by the Pharisees.
They're learning the Torah. They're learning about Yeshua. They're learning about how Yeshua kept the Torah.
Debunking the Oral Torah is a gift from Michael Rood to you for your love gift donation of just $50. Or, with a love gift donation of $100 or more, we'll send you the teaching, plus a first-century replica wall hanging commemorating the temple menorah.
This is what we are called to do. This is our ministry as priests.
Call now or visit our website at monthlylovegift.com. Offer ends May 31st or while supplies last.
Welcome back, everyone, to the third session of Rood Crew Radio for the month of May. I'm your host, Ted Clayton, along here with Analil Mora Rood. And now we have just been joined by Alvaro Martinez. Alvaro, how you doing?
How you doing, Ted? Nice to be here.
It's so good to have you here with us, Alvaro. Alvaro, talk to us about things that are happening in the Spanish world right now.
Well, in the Spanish world, we're very excited. Our YouTube channel has skyrocketed in views. We're averaging over 350,000 views per month.
Wow.
In our YouTube channel.
Incredible.
And it started off slow, season 2 of the Chronological Gospels, but now it's just picked up traction and it's going through the roof. So I encourage people, or everybody that is listening to me right now, that if you know any Spanish-speaking, if you have Spanish-speaking friends, to go ahead and share this information. Share our YouTube channel, our website, because I'm sure you guys know people that speak Spanish. We're like Jesus. We're everywhere. So I recommend you guys watch it. We're doing the radio show as well with SV, Harold, and myself from time to time, and Mr. Miguel. And that's also growing leaps and bounds. So we're very excited. Right now, we're also jumping into MyCoRood.tv. I'm putting season 2. I'm working right now on putting season 1 is already there for those that want to go watch it. And season 2 is going to be up there soon. And that is what's basically our bread and butter right now. So we're very excited and we're very happy of the way everything's going.
Now, you also, in the Spanish-speaking world, you also have a radio program similar to Rood Crew Radio. What is your radio program called?
It's called Un Rudo Despertar Radio.
Yeah. Okay, very good.
And just if you, this is an interesting fact, but we're called, Un Rudo Despertar. And in English, that would translate into a rough awakening. So you guys have a rude awakening.
Right.
In Latin America, we're having a rough awakening because rudo means rough.
Okay.
So it worked out really nice in Spanish.
And they are having a rough awakening because
Yes.
I get to, that's one of the first things I do in the morning, come in, go through the YouTube comments and check them and all that stuff. And I see the comments are people saying, where has this been all my life?
Yes.
How come nobody's preaching this in my church? And thank God I found this channel. I've been watching your stuff for the last few months, and no more Christmas for me. I'm not celebrating any Christmas or anything like that. So.
It's really interesting, Ted, because in our case, what my team's doing, Alvaro and Harold and Miguel and Zvi, we're catering to a very large Catholic, population.
Absolutely, yes.
And we do, of course, have our Christians, from every flavor, but there's a really, really big Catholic population, and they are just eating this up. They are really, really having their eyes opened, and we're just really excited about the impact that it's having in the positive reviews. And it's just an amazing time for Latin America right now, I think.
Well, I do know that Michael has a huge heart for the Latin American world. I know one of the interesting things when I've talked to Michael in the past about when he takes his trips down to Latin America, I remember one specifically. He was talking about coming out of an airport. One time the plane had landed. He was leaving the airport, and as soon as he walked out of the airport, he says, somebody comes up, Michael Rood. Yeah. And so he's very well known in the Latin American world.
He is. He's been on television for, I think, since 2000. So it's been quite a few years, it's been many years. So yeah, he's recognized, and more so than I think he would be here in the U.S. And, when we've been in Costa Rica, he gets stopped, in supermarkets, and people, recognize him. Or sometimes they say, "Hey, my mom watches you." They want to take a picture of him, just for their parents. But like I said, and Alvaro mentioned, this is a really exciting time for what's happening in Latin America. People are walking away from religion and traditions and just going directly to the Torah, to the Bible for themselves, and starting, basically starting over.
Now, you were talking earlier when we were in the break, you were talking about a new study that is coming out in the Latin American world. Tell us about that.
Sure. For the Spanish-speaking community, we have, Alvaro, already mentioned the radio show, and that's
Sure.
every other week, and they have the really interesting topics, and that's doing really well. And we will be starting in 2 weeks the new series, which is Michael's doing, which we named Jesús el Judío, which means Jesus the Jew. And we thought that was important because in Latin America, like I said, since people do come from the Catholic background and they really don't know much about the culture. Some people don't even know that, Yeshua was Jewish.
Right,
they,
right. No,
it's
exactly.
like, they think he was Christian, and the the concept Christian didn't even exist in those days. So we're really starting, we're having fun with having people, just newbies come in and that's the way we're focusing our message for, this first time when you open your eyes. And I can relate to that. And I'm sure all the people that are listening to us as well can relate when they, first started in the Hebrew roots or,
I got you.
with the Torah. So that's going to start soon, Jesús el Judío. And I'm sure everyone's going to really, really enjoy it.
And that's amazing because when people are coming in new to understanding Torah and all of this, the first thing they say is, it makes so much sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
How come it's been in the scriptures the whole time, and
Yes.
and we always gloss through it, and we
Yeah.
never seen it. But
Yeah.
now, I believe it's also a move from the Father that he's, raising up those dry bones from Ezekiel and giving people eyes to see and ears to hear the truth of his Torah in this time, and we're a spearhead in this movement.
Yes.
And we just we pray to continue being in that, and we ask for people's prayers.
Yeah.
And definitely for those volunteers, because it's not only in Spanish, also in the other languages that you guys spoke about earlier.
Well, for our Spanish-speaking friends right now, Alvaro, would you mind speaking to them in the language that they understand and invite them to come to your website right now?
Bueno, los invito a todos a que vayan y nos visiten a unrudodespertar.tv, donde va a estar todo el material gratuitamente para que conozcan, aprendan de la Torá, de la verdad de las Escrituras y entren en un caminar más cercano con su Creador.
Thank you, Alvaro, for being here with us. And Analil, you again. Guys, we would love to have you guys come back again and give us an update in the future about what's going on in the international ministries here at A Rood Awakening. And thank you again so much for being here. Ladies and gentlemen,
Thanks.
we'll be right back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to Rood Crew Radio on the Rood Radio Network.
Passed down through generations of Jewish priests, the oral Torah was intended to be another layer of protection to keep the people from breaking any of the Torah laws. In debunking the oral Torah, Michael Rood brings you along with Paul and Barnabas as they struggle to strip away years of false teachings and layers of law the Almighty never intended to impose upon His people.
And now you've got these people that have been raised with rabbinic Judaism, and they're coming up and say, oh, you've got to keep the oral Torah.
In debunking the oral Torah, Michael Rood continues his journey through the book of Acts. Learn how the Pharisees, in their short-sighted thinking, ended up breaking the law of Moses while trying to protect it their own way.
They're learning the Torah. They're learning about Yeshua. They're learning about how Yeshua kept the Torah.
Debunking the Oral Torah is an exclusive teaching available only in May. It's a gift from Michael Rood to you for your love gift donation of just $50. Or with a love gift donation of $100 or more, we'll send you Debunking the Oral Torah, plus a first-century replica wall hanging commemorating the temple menorah.
This is what we are called to do. This is our ministry as priests. As a royal priesthood, we have to go before the throne of Almighty God. We have to put the incense on the altar before the throne, which are our prayers, and that is lifted up before Him and in His name, calling for Him to take these people out.
Call now to make your love gift donation. 800-788-7887. That's 800-788-7887. Or visit our website at monthlylovegift.com. Offer ends May 31st or while supplies last.
If you'd like to speak to one of our prayer warriors, just give us a call at 888-766-3610. And we have prayer team members in both English and Spanish ready to talk to you. Or you can write us at A Rood Awakening International, P.O. Box 1559, Fort Mill, South Carolina, 29716. From all of us here at the Rood Crew and our producer, Kenneth Cullins, we wish you peace for the month of May, and we look forward to being with you again next month on Rood Crew Radio.